So I was curious why you became interested in Latin American history. You said that from the beginning.
hmm Um, so I guess I would say a couple of different reasons. Um, when I way back after I started college, I took off for a year just to, kind of find myself. I didn't really know. It wasn't because I knew what else I wanted to do. I just felt like, and I was probably right, that I wasn't ready to be in college yet. I didn't really understand what I was doing there. But I ended up during that year working as a volunteer for the United Farm Workers Union in California, Cesar Chavez's union. And most of the farm workers in California were at that time, and that was in the late 1970s, mid 1970s, were at that time and still are today Mexican immigrants, a lot of them undocumented. And that was when I was first sort of introduced to the issues of migrant labor and immigration, and really on a firsthand basis where I was first introduced to like racism. Of course, racism permeates all of society, but it wasn't something that I understood on a daily basis until I was working for the farm workers and seeing the kind of propaganda in anti-immigrant propaganda in California, and the ways that that workers' rights and immigrants' rights were being kind of twisted into something that was threatening. So this kind of language and propaganda, anti-immigrant, that we hear now really is, was very prevalent in California in the 1970s too. Maybe not so much elsewhere in the country, but it's because it's really in the 1980s that immigration from Latin America starts to spread throughout the country. Most of it is still in the Southwest in California in the 70s. So that was the first thing. And then when I finally went back to college in a couple of years later, it was the 1980s, and the United States was getting really involved in the wars in Central America. And that was really trying to understand what was going on in Central America, the revolutions that were going on in Central America, and why the United States was getting involved, I think is what pushed me into going into Latin American studies and feeling like there's this whole world out there that I don't understand anything about, and I want to understand it better.